watching the Mystical Green Beanie.
Hey, what's going on, dudes and dudettes? I am the Mystical Green Beanie, and in this video I'm going to be focusing on Marvel Comics. Because I think we can all agree that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a modern epic. The Marvel Netflix universe is fantastic, Marvel TV is inoffensive and watchable, and Marvel Legacy... Marvel Legacy is bad. It's real bad. I mean, it's not Heroes Reborn levels bad, certainly not. I'd say it's more DCU levels bad, but I think DCU is easier to compare with all new, all different Marvel than anything else, seeing as how both line-wide relaunches led to random changes for the sake of making random changes without any real story ideas behind them. The best comparison that I can make here is that Marvel Legacy is to DC Rebirth what the Justice League movie was to the Avengers. It's basically what happens when one company does something that's really cool and successful both commercially and critically, and the other company tries to copy that, and they don't get the results that they were expecting. Now that said, there are a few exceptions, and in this video I'm going to be highlighting the top 4 hidden gems of Marvel Legacy. It's 4 because in the Legacy one-shot, the Fantastic Four came back, so there's 4 of them. I thought it'd be cute. Moving on. First off, we have Moon Knight by Max Bemis and Jason Burrows. Okay, so for those of you who are subscribed to my channel, you know that I am a huge fan of Jeff Lemire's Moon Knight, although I hesitate to call myself a Moon Knight fan. Anyways, I wasn't too excited about reading this character after Lemire's run because I had such a strong reaction and personal connection to that story. And the way Lemire ends his run almost serves as an epilogue for the character of Mark Spector, and I didn't want to see anyone else do anything with him after this run because I was so afraid that whoever came on board to write Moon Knight next would completely ignore anything that Lemire did with the character. Which is exactly what happened. But that's not entirely a bad thing because I really like what Jason Burrows and Max Bemis are doing with the mythology. They're basically giving Moon Knight a rogues gallery, and I don't want to give too much away because I really want you to go out and read this book, but based off the issues that have come out already, it looks like the other Egyptian gods have inhabited human hosts, much like Khonshu does Mark Spector, and they're on a warpath to kill Moon Knight. And it's really cool, and it's very well drawn, and very well written, and I highly recommend that you check it out. Next up is Doctor Strange by John Barber, and literally every artist working at Marvel at the moment. Now, this is a book that I am loving myself, but I'm a Doctor Strange fan, so what do you expect from me? So, this series is... I don't want to say strange, but it is. Basically, the book now is just spooky Doctor Who, which is actually more interesting than I think it sounds. And I honestly think that's what Jason Aaron was going for anyways when he was pioneering this new direction for the character, which, by the way, if you have not read Jason Aaron's Doctor Strange, do yourself a favor and go read it. It is amazing. But speaking of which, John Barber's run is picking up right where Aaron's run left off. Now that's important because as of right now, the status quo is that magic is dead. And Steven is trying his best not to let the events of Jason Aaron's run get to him, and he's stressed. And we get to see how he deals with it, as well as his new apprentice, Zelma. Plus, the art is phenomenal, and I say that because the artist is different each issue, and is dependent upon whose style best suits the story being told in that issue. But I'd say pick it up, it's worth a read in my opinion. Then there's Peter Parker the Spectacular Spider-Man, drawn by Adam Kubert, and written by Chip Zdarsky. Alright. It's no secret. I'm a Spider-Man fanboy. But for the past 10 or so years, reading the main Peter Parker 616 Spider-Man has almost felt like a chore. And I mean no disrespect to Dan Slott. I respect what he's trying to do with the character, but for me, it's not Spider-Man. Then Marvel announced this new title, Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, with Adam Kubert as the artist and Chip Zdarsky as the writer. Oh boy. O-H space P-O-I. Oh, I remember, immediately after hearing this announcement, thinking to myself that this will either be a fantastic reinvigoration of the character, or it could be an absolute train wreck. And after reading the first 5 issues, I can safely say that it's not a train wreck, it's more like a car crash. But not a violent car crash, more so just a very confusing one. Like, the total vehicle is at the top of a tree, and the driver is some 30 yards away, trapped in a tar pit, their hands both still firmly grasping the steering wheel, and they're screaming at the top of their lungs, 10 and 2! 10 and 2! 10 and 2! Again, not the worst thing that could have happened, but it's very perplexing, especially when you look at where you started versus where you ended up. But then we get issue 6, and this is when the book just... I'm speechless. I'm stunned. I can't believe what I'm experiencing right now. For the first time in 10 years, I feel like I'm reading a Spider-Man book. Not a Miles Morales story, not an alternate take on Peter Parker, a genuine Spider-Man comic. And on top of that, the art is fantastic. Adam Kubert is not just phoning it in. There are some panels here that represent him on his A-game. And I'm not trying to sound hyperbolic here, but you have to understand, reading this made me feel like I was reading the Spider-Man that I grew up reading, and that really meant a lot to me. It means a lot to me. And I really enjoyed what Chip Zdarsky and Adam Kubert have given us from issue 6 and onwards, and I'm excited to see where the series goes from here. And if you're a Spider-Man fan and you're not reading this book, trust me, I get it, I understand, but you need to be picking this up because this feels like the real deal. And finally, we have Punisher Max The Platoon by Garth Ennis and Goran Parlov. Alright, so I feel like I'm cheating a little bit here because this book is about as connected to Marvel Legacy as Gerard Way's Doom Patrol is to DC Rebirth. That said, the book's fantastic and I will pimp it because it is a high quality comic. So, this book takes place in the Marvel Max continuity and actually serves as a prequel to Punisher Born and the rest of Garth Ennis' run on Punisher Max. And the story is kinda simple. It's exploring Frank Castle's early years in the Vietnam War and how his first kill shaped him. And what I find fascinating about this series is that it's primarily told from the perspective of his first command. So yeah, the series is great so far, and this is something that I feel like you should be reading if you're a Punisher fan, or if you just like high quality comics. So again, Marvel Comics is in a bad spot right now in terms of the overall quality of their comics, but there are a few good books being published that I think are worth checking out. Anyways guys, those are my thoughts, but what about you? What does your list look like? You know, assuming you are reading Marvel right now. Let me know down below in the comment section. Also, if you like this video, hit the like button, share, spread the word, and if you want to see more content like this, all you have to do is subscribe. I'm the Mystical Green Beanie, thank you for watching, and as always, until next time, adios nachos, adios. Oh, God. Wow. Oh. Jesus. Ugh. I am never doing that ever again.